All right, guys. Fula coming to you with another commentary. Uh, this is just to show that when you're dealing with women, and again, I don't recommend you deal with a Western woman, like a modern Western woman. I recommend you stay far as hell away from them as possible. I know it's hard. I know you have needs, and I know you have urges and desires, but try to somehow alchemize those urges and desires into learning some new stuff, like getting more money than you're already getting right now. Maybe maybe like learning a new trade or something like that. Maybe learning how to draw or paint, just anything where your mind can just be taken off of that, because it at the end of the day, there is gonna always be a part of you that wants maybe some companionship and stuff like that, but you can live without it though. You know what I mean? You can live without it and you can still flourish and prosper without it. So that's the most important thing to understand. And I recommend this because of the simple fact of some of the things I'm about to show you right now. Let me find them real quick. Okay. Now, this first one, this just goes to show you if you deal with a Western woman, you're not dealing with just only her. You're dealing with every other guy that she's been with. And it will never be cut and dry, how many guys she's been with. So that right there, at the beginning of the video, it said, what was the body count? Her body count. And as you see here, she has no shame in it, reaching, first it starts with 1, it goes to 12, it goes to 36, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and all the way to 80. So I say this to say that when you're with these women and they try to what these Western women will do is, if they're looking for a beta male simp, if they're looking for that, if they're looking for the resources, and that those resources can come from a beta male simp who is looking for companionship, then what she's gonna do is she will say, no, I've only been with let's just say 5 guys. She'll say that, and the beta male simp will be like, oh, okay, that's okay. Push comes to shove, she says 10 guys. Then it's still gonna be okay with the beta male simp. Okay. But she will never tell the truth that she's been with almost hundreds of guys. You know what I mean? These women, that's what they do. They just really sleep around. Don't let it fool you. You got to see between the lines that she's going to present herself as, innocent and pure and things like that, but it's not the case. It's never the case with the modern Western woman. Okay, never. No, not one single solitary modern Western woman is gonna be like what she depicts herself to be. If she's looking to get a guy with resources, or if she's looking to get a sucker. She's not going to be depicted. Yeah, what she's depicting herself is completely false. Now, I'm not really a big I'm not really a big fan of Tyrese. I think he do got some acting skills though. I remember he was in I'm not going to sit here and cap. He did a good job playing being a Ray Ray type dude in Baby Boy. I can't sit here and cap. He played that role well. He also did the Fast and Furious role pretty well too. You know, I can't even sit here and lie. But actually, before I get into the Tyrese video, I want to actually just get a clip, show a clip from the homie Comrade from the Ave. You know, people be sleeping on my nigga Comrade, man, for real. But what Comrade says is just straight on. It's straight truth. It's the straight truth, and so I'm about to play it real quick. It's a very short one, but what he says is straight truth, bro. But let me go ahead and play it real quick.
Bitches hate real niggas. So if you gonna keep it real with a bitch, you know she gonna hate you. Still keep it real though.
Exactly. If you're especially if you're like me, if you were brought up in Fulani code of conduct and the code of ethics, you're gonna be hated by these Western modern women. That's just the bottom line. You know what I mean? But still, no matter if you're hated, don't change your way about yourself to please them. Don't do that shit, man. That shit doesn't give you any benefits. You're not going to benefit from that. You're not going to win any points from that, from you changing yourself to fit and cater into what she has going on. You're not going to win. Okay? It's not going to work for you. It's not something you need to do. Okay? So just don't do it. That's what I would recommend. Just don't do it, okay? If you're a traditional nigga like me who has traditional old school African cultural values that all modern Western women hate, just let them hate you, man. That's it. Let them hate you. Don't change for them. You know what I mean? Put it this way. Modern Western women hate order and structure anyway. They hate tradition anyway. They like the benefits that come with traditional, like traditionalism. They like the benefits of it, but they don't know how to be no traditional women, man. Come on now. They weren't taught to be traditional women. Like I did in the other breakdown, those magazines taught them. Cosmopolitan taught them. Talk shows where women just gossip around one another taught them. You know, that's what taught them. But nobody taught them, you know. But let's go into Tyrese. Let's listen to Tyrese. Break down what he says.
Every time a relationship ends, it's not always the man. It's
9 times out of 10, it really isn't the man most of the time. Like, especially in marriage, every time a marriage ends, it's usually not the man who, initiates the end of the marriage. That's just how that goes.
Plenty of women out here doing shit that they're ashamed of. I had
Well, the problem is they're not ashamed of it. They're doing it, but there is no shame in what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, at first, if you went back in the day, there was shame in what they were doing. But now, since the world, you know, at large, like different elements of the world, and the feminism effect have allowed them to do these things, there is no shame, you know what I mean, among them.
Nothing to do with them 10 relationships that you was in before we got in a relationship. Absolutely. I had nothing to do with them 10 relationships that you was in before we got in a relationship.
But the problem with that is that, you know, because with men, like for example, you know, when like for example, if dealing with a woman, right, it's very easy for me to cut them off. Like, it's very easy. Like, I'll drop them. Listen, it doesn't take much for me to just like drop them. I'll give one example. There was one that it was very easy for me to like block her on Instagram. You know, that's the thing. I'm not afraid to do that. I don't care how pretty the girl is. I will block you. I will easily block you. Okay, and think nothing of it and move on with my day. But the problem with women is they are not like that. So when a guy hurts them, okay, let's say for example, okay, I'll take an example. Let's say, you know, Ray hurts them, right? And then let's say what's a good name that I can use for like kind of like a goody person? So Ray hurts her, and then Benjamin comes along, you know. Benjamin comes along, he wants to treat her right. He wants to like invest in the future with her and things like that. He's gonna suffer. He will suffer off of what Ray did to her. You know, that's how that works. You know what I mean? Because Ray did those mistakes, right? Benjamin still has to suffer. So if she had 10 like Chads, 10 Rays, 10 Terrells, then Benjamin and Michael and let's just say Abraham have to suffer, even if they didn't mean no harm, you know, even if they were trying to do her right. So he's absolutely right about that.
You done brought all of them heartbreaks, insecurities, issues, mental, emotional, and physical abuse into this brand new relationship.
And that's true. A lot of times, here's the thing. A lot of times, modern Western women don't even need to be in relationships, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, most of them don't need to be in relationships. What they need to be into is like seeking help, like seeking some kind of professional help, you know. The problem is, though, however, is that the modern Western woman thinks that she doesn't need help. The modern Western woman thinks that, you know, she basically runs the world, and that the world caters to her, which is true, unfortunately, but it's only catering to her self-destruction. And the more it caters to that self-destruction, the more that she'll realize that she's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And I'm not going to sit here and cap. I truly believe that, and I know this sounds pretty bad. I know this sounds pretty bad, but I truly believe that there will be a spike in crime with modern concerning modern Western women, for the simple fact they won't know how to deal with their problems, and the world is telling them that everything that they're doing is okay. So I'm not surprised when I see more stories of like of actually women killing their boyfriends, women killing their husbands because they're bringing that baggage from the past behind, and they're lashing and they're taking it out on people who had nothing to do with it.
Now I'm on the receiving end of all of this that them 10 dudes and did to you. So you should be ashamed of yourself. Hey, don't put it on me.
And that's it. Yeah. And that's the whole point, that and brothers, I want you to understand something. You have to be firm enough to tell her, listen, if you gonna like have your baggage and things like that, if you're gonna have all this baggage and I didn't do anything and I'm not responsible for any of that baggage, and you're gonna bring it into this situation, then the door is right there. Don't let the door hit you on the butt, and you have to take that stance, because that's the only way that's going to help you and save your sanity, and at the end of the day, you have to save your sanity, because chances are, if you're a man, your family is depending on you to provide. So your sanity is more important than catering to her mistakes. But let's get into one more thing.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan. I spent.
Okay, so that's the one thing you brothers got to realize. Don't, if you can, and I don't know law all the way. I'm not going to sit here and act like that I know law. If you can, though, get a civil marriage. Go for a civil marriage versus all this paper trail marriage. Because $106,000, although in elite terms, that's not a lot of money, but you can do some things with $106,000. But now the things that he was probably planning on doing with $106,000 are down the drain because of a Jezebel.
20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to.
So, again, all of his hard work, all of his resources, all of those things which he had to put blood, sweat, and tears, elbow grease in, sacrifice into getting, are now down the drain because of one woman. Okay, and I'm pretty sure she initiated the divorce. I'm quite sure. Not more women initiate divorce than men anyway. Okay. All of that labor is down the drain, and it was hard labor to get those things.
I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these.
So again, you have to understand something, guys. She didn't even buy, this all came from him. She didn't put anything, she didn't bring anything to the table. Okay? All she brought to the table was herself. He did this all himself. He bought all of these things himself. Now all of those things are gone because of that.
And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now.
And so another thing with these divorces is a lot of time, unfortunately, as sad as it is, the modern Western woman doesn't care if kids are involved. She doesn't care about like what that will do to a kid. She doesn't care. No, she doesn't care. I'm just saying that she doesn't care about how the kid feels. I mean, at the end of the day, what she does a lot of times when Western women divorce, what they do is they divorce and then they have fun with their girlfriends. They try to relive hot girl summer with other divorcees and the like thereof.
Broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25.
Now, I know this this guy right here is hurting. But at this point, I still think he's winning because of the simple fact that it could be worse for him. He could have no shelter whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is, I know he downgraded so significantly. I know for a fact he downgraded so much. And I know it's like hurting him that his wife gets the house and all of that. And he's here living in a 2-bedroom apartment, the house he paid for, the house he put all his blood, sweat, and tears into getting. However, it's a good thing that, he's still like sheltered. You dig me? But I get it.
Indirect costs: my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again.
Now, it's sad that all of that the emotional damage of the divorce was so heavy on him that it led to this. It's very sad and it's very unfortunate that it led to all of these things and that it led to him drinking and things like that. It's very sad. However, how should I say it? He shouldn't go on social media saying those things, but at the same time, part of it ain't his fault. Like, probably even during the marriage, she probably emasculated him anyway. And that was her number one goal, was to emasculate this guy. So with that being said, it's good for it. It's sad that he went out this way. You know what I mean? And it's sad that a lot of guys are going out this way. So that's why I say that your best bet may be like, if you're gonna get married, just do a civil marriage. Just do that instead. Don't do what they want you to do here. Okay. because it may cost you more. It's going to cost you a lot more. So you may be better off just doing a civil marriage, and if she doesn't agree with it, then just kick her to the curb. It may be the best bet for you. But anyhow, man, that's all I got for this one. Fula signing out. I'm John Arma.